walking with the promise of God, walking with the Holy Spirit, and this week we've been looking at some of the things that Mark has to say about this. But as I looked at this week's particular passages, I really felt that Mondays held such richness that really I thought it would be good just to devote the time on this video to looking at Mark 9:21 to 27 and what we can learn from it. Situation is Jesus comes along and there's an issue, a health issue with a child, and he asks the father, "How long has this been happening?" Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied, "Since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can." "What do you mean, if I can?" Jesus asked. "Anything is possible if a person believes." The father instantly cried out, "I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief." When Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing, he rebuked the evil spirit. "Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak," he said. "I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again." Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, "He's dead." But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up. Now, various things to notice about this. One is that as far as Jesus was concerned and as far as the boy's father was concerned, the particular illness, complaint, whatever it was caused by an evil spirit. And it's interesting to see that as Jesus goes through in the Gospels healing people, some people are healed from sicknesses, some relate to the conditions of the day or their own perhaps some defect at birth or whatever. Others relate to evil spirits, and yet others are a consequence of sin. And it's not, as it were, the thinking of people years ago who hadn't a clue about modern medical techniques, that they ascribe certain things to evil spirits. Reality is they knew a little bit more about life than perhaps we do. That's the first thing. Second thing is, "Help us if you can," cried out the father. Because Jesus said, anything is possible if a person believes. If I can, what do you mean if I can? Anything is possible if a person believes. Now in Matthew 19:26, we read that with God all things are possible. It was Jesus who said that. So Jesus is saying, and he says it again, you'll see that referred to in Mark and in Luke as well. But if with God all things are possible, and if now Jesus is saying anything is possible if a person believes, and in context that is, believes in God, then surely we've got a situation here where, all things, what are we going to exclude from it? "Oh, no, that's too difficult. Oh, that disease is too serious. That situation is too hopeless. These things cannot change." But all things are possible. Anything is possible if a person believes, and all things are possible with God. So it's our faith position that actually is the key to this. Do we really believe what God says? Do we believe what Jesus says in the Bible? Because we have the potential for anything to be solved, with all the normal caveats, if it's in God's will, all the rest of it. And is it God's will to heal? Yes, it is, because he announced himself to the world, if you like, through the Hebrew people as, "I am the Lord your healer." Is it God's will that we should prosper and succeed? Yes, it is. The plans I have for you, are to prosper. He said that, it's through Proverbs, it's the Lord who makes rich and adds no sorrow to it. And we've got all of this information in the Bible that shows us such a positive image of God. And really we ignore it at our peril. Notice at the end of the story that the boy appeared to be dead after the spirit had left him. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, "He's dead." Unbelief in God will not give up easily. It'll cling on, dig its claws in, and even in the face of a healing, it will, or in this case a deliverance, unbelief will say, no, the child is dead, he's laying on the floor, he's dead. And we need to be aware of that. We need to be aware of the fact that we need to be constantly in a state of faith. That's why it says in the scriptures that the just shall live by faith. There isn't occasion when we're not living by faith, because it's how we operate. And to get something done through to completion, we don't just pray a prayer and then walk away and say, well, that's done. We remain in faith, thanking God that he has accomplished what we have asked for. But you may say, but what if there's no evidence of that? Well, there is, because our faith